All right, let's try something a little different and actually break down a full line, what goes into it, and how I put this full line together. What you're seeing now is the completed line. It wasn't even as good as I wanted it to be, but it's close. Everything started out with this Kong gainer. It was like the perfect spot to do it. The only problem is that when I tried to do it without touching my hands, I wasn't able to do it because it's on a hill, and I just ended up running down the hill. Might not be the most creative solution, but I figured if I just do a ground Kong, that's gonna cover a little more distance, and it's gonna solve the problem of not running down the hill. This gate was the next thing that I knew that I wanted to do because it's in a really tight space, and I thought it was just kind of a cool addition to a line. It also keeps the whole line really poppy. Out of the Kong gainer, I'm popping into every single move, including the gate. Now, I didn't have anything planned after the gate, but since I was leaning backwards on the landing, this lazy to side flip felt really good. The only problem is it doesn't really take me where I want to go. So on the next try, I was like, I'm gonna do everything the same and try to add in a half twist out of that side flip. Worked out really well. Then again, I just kind of improvised this little bit, but it felt great. Might have been a little sloppy though. At this point, I had the outline of my line figured out. Now I just had to get all the steps right, figure out the spacing, and obviously turn around whatever this backflip was, so I'm going the other direction. Spacing has got to be my absolute favorite thing to look at and talk about when it comes to parkour lines. If you look at this line, this entire run through, the spacing was next to perfect. Here's the bigger problem and why the spacing actually wasn't as perfect as it looked. Yes, each move flowed directly into the next through plyometrics. That's great. I love that spacing. The problem is at the end of this line, I haven't traveled far enough down the hill in order to hit this last pop cast without landing on my knees. And that's where this last attempt comes into play. Each move is taking me farther and farther down the hill so that by the end of it, I'm set up for that pop cast where I need to be. But if I'm being 100% honest, if I was a perfectionist, I would do it again and not travel quite as far, because as you can see, this last move was just a castaway, not a pop cast. That being said, I felt like I already spent too much time on this line. I was done with it. I was like, you know what, that's good enough. We're gonna take it. We're gonna move on to the next one. All right, guys, let me know if you like this concept of video. I could try out some other lines if you want me to. If you hate it, just let me know. Thanks a lot. See you in the next one.